Do you want to turn your iPhone into a cinematic filmmaking beast? Maybe you're tired of carrying around a DSLR and you want a slimmer option. There are a ton of options nowadays, and the iPhone camera accessory market is booming right now. And the camera support options really maximize the iPhone's capabilities. I want to let you know that Sandmarc sent me this gear, but I'm going to give you my honest feedback and help you decide if accessories for your iPhone that Sandmarc makes is a good option for you or not. To get started, if you want to instantly up your production with your iPhone, I would always start with the filters. So these are Sandmarc's hybrid filters, and I have not seen anything quite like them on the market. They're a combination of an ND filter and a polarizer, which means you can get the ideal depth of field because you can control the shutter speed and get vibrant colors and contrast because of the polarizer. And these are super simple to use because the kit comes with a clip-on attachment that all you need to do is screw on the filter strength that you choose, and then it just clips on any iPhone model. And because it's a clip-on, it's super easy to apply, and you can change out filters in a matter of moments. And this kit comes with 3 filter strengths. There's a 16, 32, and a 64 ND, depending on what the sunlight or what kind of lighting situation you're in. And I noticed with this clip, you're not gonna be able to use a iPhone case with it. You're gonna have to go bare bones iPhone because the clip doesn't quite cover the iPhone lenses when I was trying to use it with my case. Now with this kit, the one thing that bugs me is that you use the clip on your iPhone and it covers part of the viewfinder, basically your screen. So it is covering up a portion of the screen, and to me that's a little buggy. I don't love that, but you are trading off some versatility and ease of use. So it can also be used on any iPhone. I can pop it out in a matter of seconds, have an ND filter if my lighting situation changes. So I'm willing to make that trade-off. However, later in this video, I will show you how you can actually remedy this with a case and a screw-on step-up attachment. These filters allow you to add motion blur to your shots because they keep the shutter speed low. So they're ideal for like waterfalls, action shots, or even fast-moving subjects. And I think the best part about it is it works on all iPhone models. So if you upgrade your iPhone later, you're not gonna need to buy different cases or anything. It just clips on and you're ready to go. And the whole thing with an ND filter period and why it's so important is because when you add it to your iPhone, it instantly drops the shutter speed. And when you have a slower shutter speed, usually 1/50, it makes your footage look more cinematic, more realistic to what the human eye actually sees. Usually if you're outdoors in an iPhone and you're shooting with it, running and gunning, you got a high shutter speed, and that's making your footage look more choppy and less fluid. And really, the perception from the human eye, they're like, this looks a little unnatural. Now I want to talk about the Sandmarc Pro leather case. And for a leather case, it definitely has a different feel. I haven't felt a case for an iPhone quite like this one. And the buttons are extremely pronounced. So if you're fumbling around on your phone, you're gonna find your buttons really easy. You actually have to press kind of hard to actually activate them. And I've used a lot of cases over the years, and this one is one of the most standout cases I've used. And I got the iPhone 16 Pro Max, so the case I have has an opening for the shutter button that they added. And if you guys didn't know, I am not a fan of the shutter button at all. I feel like the iPhone has way too many buttons, especially when you're trying to press it against things or hold it a certain way. You're accidentally pressing buttons, taking screenshots, and it's really unnecessary. I don't love this iPhone model. What's special about this case is it has 17mm threading where the cameras are. So that means you can attach lenses to the iPhone. And it doesn't mean that you necessarily have to use Sandmarc lenses. However, I do suggest if you want to use Sandmarc lenses, you can use that, but I have other lenses as well that use 17mm threading, and I can just attach those super easy to the case, and I can choose which lens I want to attach to which camera. And for this video, they provided me the Anamorphic 1.33x, and that uses 17mm threading, so it's really easy to attach that lens to this case. Now I mentioned the clip that covered up your viewfinder when you're taking a photo or recording video. So they gave me a step-up ring filter mount, and this has a 17mm threading on one side, and the other side you can use the filters and you can screw them on. So if you have the case, you have the step-up ring, you just attach the step-up ring to whatever camera that you're using, and then you screw on the filter to the step-up ring, and now you solve that issue of the clip. Now you have to buy a couple more things, but any other solution, you're gonna also need to buy a case. It doesn't matter what manufacturer you go through. There's always clever ways for people to attach different iPhone gear to the iPhone, and they're all really similar, to be completely honest, with how they solve this issue, because the iPhone doesn't have mounting points. The only thing it has is a USB-C port on the bottom if you have the new models, and a bunch of buttons. So the star of the show and of this video is the Sandmarc Anamorphic 1.33x lens. And this kind of lens is notorious in Hollywood films for creating that cinematic look. And it does this by using an oval-shaped iris and squeezing the footage. So you have to use a third-party app when you're using the iPhone to de-squeeze the image. And when you de-squeeze the image, it stretches the image out. So you use the oval to compress the image, and then you use an app to de-squeeze it. And what that does is gives you a widescreen look with black bars on the top and bottom, which creates that cinematic look. And this creates an aspect ratio of 2.4 to 1. And this also uses the 17mm threading that I was telling you about. This lens package comes with a lens pouch, a clip-on mount, a cleaning pouch, and of course the lens cap. And to use this lens, you're gonna need to use a third-party app on the iPhone, and you can use the Blackmagic Camera app or Filmic Pro. I personally do not use Filmic Pro, so the Blackmagic Camera app is also free. And when you're in the settings in the Blackmagic app, you just have to find the de-squeeze options and change it to 1.33. That way you can take your footage that's being morphed by the lens and de-squeeze it on the fly, so you can actually monitor and see what the footage is actually looking like in the camera app. And the only downside to anamorphic lenses with the iPhone, and this is with any anamorphic lens on the iPhone, is when you get too close to a subject, you're gonna see warping. It's really good for medium to far away shots when you need to capture landscaping or just big pictures in general. But you got to think about it. You're using an iPhone to capture anamorphic shots. Like, there's going to be trade-offs when you're shooting with this type of lens. So if you want to spice up your actual iPhone footage, you want to try something new, you want a different look, you want to experiment, you definitely need to check out a lens like this. The only downside I'd say is mainly use this for YouTube videos or actually some kind of cinematic filmmaking that you want to do on your own with your iPhone, because if you're going to use this and try to plug it on social media using a vertical video, something that you plug on Instagram or TikTok, and you try to put this elongated 1.33x 2.4 by 1 aspect ratio on a vertical platform, most people aren't going to sit and watch it. Because it just doesn't fit the format too well. That's just my tip on using social media, period. And the last piece of gear is the Sandmarc film rig. So this is a piece of gear that'll help you build out your iPhone. This rig has 2 handles on it, so you rig your phone in the middle and then you use both your arms to help stabilize the shots and help frame these shots as well. There's a couple cold shoe mounts on it, so you can put lights, microphones, even SSDs if you want to use the ProRes feature on the iPhone. It also has an aluminum swivel handle that has a 1/4-20 mount, so if you wanted to attach any accessory that uses a 1/4-20 mount, you can do that, and it swings out to the side. And you can use the cases, filters, and lenses when you're using the film rig. Now, something like this is not really my favorite thing in the world, but it does have a place. It usually requires a full build out at that point. So when I want to run and gun, I don't love bringing out film rigs because I just feel like I'm bringing out a DSLR. I like to keep it pretty simple. I like the case. I like the lens. I like the filter. For the most part, I can get very cinematic shots. I don't personally need a lot of stabilization. I just work my shots around that. Even with my own DSLR, I pretty much don't use a lot of gimbals or stabilizers because that's just more and more gear. I like to keep things light and simple. I hope you guys can get some value out of this, and if you want any of this gear, all of it is in the description. You guys can get a discount on any of this gear too. You just need to use my code at checkout. It's miles10. I'll also put that in the description. And if you guys want to see more awesome content by me, be sure to subscribe, like the video. We put lots of effort into it, and I appreciate you guys for watching. As always, I'll see you on the next one. Peace.